or just joining us here on your favorite program, Democracy and the Rule of Law. So, Barrister Deji, and of course, the issues, the rumored coup, was widely publicized. We saw the corresponding change, of service chiefs. Of course, this is not even the first time. When there was a coup in our sister West African countries, there were also rumors here that seems that there is such plan. So what do you think is fueling, this consistent rumored coup? Because this has been once too many now.
Thank you very much. I think the problem of poor governance of many African states is the reason why we are seeing this sudden upsurge in coup across the continent, starting with the Francophone countries and now moving into some of the English-speaking countries. And unfortunately, our leaders have not taken cue. Everybody knows that military regimes are aberration and that they constitute violent change of government. They constitute an illegal change of government. And nobody wants the military to be in charge of the affairs of the state. But unfortunately, when you see the kind of perfidy, the kind of corruption that goes on in the African continent, the reckless attitude of leaders, African leaders, the obvious violation of rights of the African people, the failure to provide social benefit for the African people. All over Africa, you see evidence of poverty, you see evidence of squalor, hardship, all over. The African people are going through serious stress, not because there are no resources in Africa, but because many of the African leaders are better not be in office. And one wonder why Africa keeps producing some of the worst elements as leaders across board, from North Africa to South Africa and from East Africa to West Africa, even to Central Africa. You find all manner of leaders who are insensitive to the need of their people. And where this kind of situation is common, where leaders are no longer sensitive to the social need of their people, obviously the military incursion is seen almost like an alternative to such government. And that's why you find that each time the military come in and they take over in any country, there is jubilation by the people. The politicians have so repressed the people to the point that they see military regimes, they see coup d'etats as salvation in many of our states. And that's why coup d'etat is becoming a recurring decimal in Africa again, because of the recklessness of the leadership, because of the bad governance of many African states. Africa is so much blessed with so much resources, but most of these resources are in the hands of the leaders. Many of them don't even care in various aspects of all the social needs of the people. You talk about education, you talk about food, you talk about housing, you talk about health. There's no provision of these facilities anywhere. All over the continent, there is a high level of children that are out of school in many parts of Africa. In fact, Africa has the largest number of children out of school among all the continents in the world. And yet, almost about 60% of the wealth of the world is in Africa alone. And one asks, how, for instance, look at Nigeria. Let's domesticate it to Nigeria. Nigeria is the 6th richest oil producing country in the world. And one wonders, what are we still doing on the index of poverty countries? Why is Nigeria still listed as one of the poor countries? Despite the wealth of this country, why are we still borrowing money? Why do we have so much resources and our leaders are living in opulence and the majority of Nigerian people cannot afford to eat? So these are some of the dynamics that have fueled military incursion in many African countries. And I think our leaders need to begin to think twice about how they run government, whether the government is for themselves or for the people.
All right. So you believe that the rumored coup, is because of bad governance.
Well, that of Nigeria, we are not even sure of the facts. Well, thank God you use the word rumor. We are not even sure whether there was indeed any coup or whether it's just a narrative,
but we saw
that
that
is being created.
We saw that the Independence Day parade was cancelled.
Yes, it was cancelled, but we don't know why.
We have also seen.
We're never told the reason.
We have also seen
until now that rumors are flying out.
We also seen that service chief have been reshuffled.
Yes, we are not even sure whether it's as a result of any coup d'etat. If you ask me, and even the military have denied there was any such coup. The explanation they are giving to us, is to the effect that some people are disgruntled over promotional exercise in the army. And again, we don't know whether that is true or false. And it's very strange that if indeed a coup happened, or there is a conception of a coup, for the government to be concealing it is another problem of its own. We need to know the facts. Government should be honest, they should be transparent.
Yeah, because of it's a security issue, national security issue, because all countries, we know that when it has to do with national security issue, most times they are very, very express discretion. And
if there are coups and you cover it up, is it not worse for national security?
There is a planned coup.
If there is a planned coup, now assuming there is a planned coup, and some people want to take over the government by violence, how does your concealment assist national security? Is it not better to come out with the facts?
Yeah, because and
then deal with it.
If you say that,
so that others who may have such an intention will not go that same way.
That means you might need to start calling names of those who are the.
What is wrong in publicly dealing with coup, issues of coup, as a deterrent? What is wrong with it? We have had some coups in this country that were dealt with, and those who were perpetrators of those coups were brought to book. So what is wrong in us knowing that indeed there was a coup, if ever there was a coup?
Okay, but
concealment itself is a dangerous thing. Concealment of a coup is permissiveness, and it's very dangerous for the national security.
All right, of course, they said there's no smoke without fire. Let's even assume that there was a planned coup that was foiled. So, but what we want to find out is what is the reason, for this coup. Why would the military want to take over the government in the first place? Given the records of the military in the past, where so many people have argued that when the military took over, they never improved the welfare of the people. So what moral rights do they have to feel that they are the savior of the people from the politicians?
Well, it depends on the perspective you are looking at it. Okay? If you are looking at it from the perspective of the military, those who are planning the coup, obviously they will tell you that the condition of the nation is deteriorating. They will tell you that the civilian government has become too reckless and corrupt for anybody to even work under them. Naturally, the military has a very high level of perception of their function. All right? And where you have a bunch of politicians, let me use the word, bloody civilians, the way they look at them, run the affairs of the country in a reckless manner, in a way that even the military is affected. Obviously, you don't expect the military to sit down and submit themselves to such a government. A government that is reckless, a government that violates the laws of the country, a government that goes after the citizens, a government that kills its own citizens. The responsibility of the military sees themselves as the only way to curb such civilian governments.
Do they have that responsibility, irrespective of how they see themselves? Do they have that responsibility? And some people also want to know, because this coup, resonates with some section of Nigerians presently. So, but the record of the military in the past does not give anybody a cause to be optimistic that even if, so why should the military feel that, and why are some section of the Nigeria feel that, okay, if military takes over, it's fine? Because we have been told that the worst form of democracy is better than the best form of military.
Perceptively. Now, let me tell you what aid military coup in Africa. Number one, bad governance.
Yeah, but they're also responsible for bad governance when they have
No,
had
no, no, no.
opportunity.
The
When they
military,
have had opportunity to superintend the affairs of countries.
we have been part of the military government in this country. As terrible as the military may be, you know that the process of decision making in the military is much more faster and more efficient than that of the civilian government. That's number one. And the military believes that to recreate and rebuild the nation, there is a need for them to intervene. That's the way they look at it. They may not be right in the sense that whatever they do is an unlawful takeover of government because they are not elected. All right? The people have not voted for them to take over power.
Yeah, but
So that's the dimension.
even apart from legitimacy, we are talking about the welfare of the people, because obviously the complaint is that the civilians, the democratic institution have failed to provide the basic needs of the people, and
Yes.
that is why they are stepping.
Yes.
But we are saying that over the years, we've had a lot of military incursion in Nigeria, and we cannot say that the military provided the welfare of the people were prioritized.
No. If you really look at the state of Nigeria, the Nigerian history, without respect to the military, you discover that the military regime that had passed through Nigeria today, there are two things I want to say about it. Most of the infrastructure you find in Nigeria today were constructed during the military regimes. The civilians have not done 1/3 of what the military have done during their tenure. The present, both the civilian of Shagari's government that we had, which is the First Republic, and even the civilians, the new experience that we are having today, the military have done much more in terms of infrastructure, in terms of development programs, than even the civilian. During the military regime, we have development programs that were set over a period of time. Do we also strategic development program now in a civilian government? Look at the nation, for instance. The people that are supposed to be civilian regime are even doing as if they are military regime. They are even doing worse than the military regime. Presently, we have a lot of demolition of people's property all over Nigeria by people who are supposed to be civilian government. We have examples in Lagos here where many people have been rendered homeless by the government. So, when this kind of thing happens in a democracy, and one wonder whether there is any difference between a democracy, the way we are practicing it, and the military regime that have put us into the mess that we are in Nigeria today. There's really no difference. And unfortunately, if you look carefully, you also discover that some of the elements who were the military leaders in the past are still the ones that are the mentors and the godfathers of even some of our politicians. They are still the ones in control of the nation. So what is the difference?
All right. So you believe that
I don't believe in military. Don't get me wrong. I'm not canvassing for the military takeover or a coup. But what I'm saying is that empirically, if you compare the military that we drove away and the civilian government that we are in now, you discover that we were better under the military than under what we are calling democracy now.
All right, because we're almost out of time. So what would you advise going forward, the government, in order to, because we saw the speed at which let's assume that there was a military coup plan.
They have said there's no military coup.
Yeah,
so let's dismiss that.
Let's assume that there were, because Nigerians have said that the speed at
that
which,
will still be a conjecture.
Yeah, obviously it's a conjecture. We don't have an official report from that. It's a conjecture. So we saw the speed at which
the reform,
executive reform, yeah, people were switched and all of that. And so people have complained that Nigerians have been complaining of insecurity. I wouldn't see this urgency in the actions of the government.
Yes.
And when it has come to their own, affect their own government,
constituency,
we saw how
immediate and rapid intervention
were done, reshuffle, and everything was done at the speed of light. Wouldn't it be good also that this speed of light should also, be deployed in other areas, infrastructure, education? Shouldn't it be, people who have died in the far north, Boko Haram and all of that? When this military head officers are not performing, there should be reform immediately. People should be sacked if you are not doing what they are supposed to do. Just like we have seen, how there's quick reshufflement. Shouldn't that be the case?
Now, the way I look at it, it's the evidence to the Nigerian people that if the government really wants to change the destiny of Nigerians, they can do it overnight. They can do it with rapidity. if they really want to. Because, of course, because of security issues, national defense issues that are tied around the issue of the military, you can see the way the president took it with utmost speed. And just like we have observed, one would have expected that the problem of education will also be taken with such rapid speed. The problem of housing of the Nigerian people will also be taken with such rapid speed. The health, the state of our hospitals will also be taken with such rapidity. And the state of our educational sector will also be taken with such rapid response, so that we can truly have the benefit of democracy. But it all depends on the presidency and the executive, whether in fact this will be done. You see, when there is danger to those in government, they know how to respond quickly to their own needs. But when there is danger to the Nigerian people, they take their time.
All right.
So, and that's the problem why we said that we expect that the government should give the dividend of democracy. It's really unfortunate that in the last period of years that we have had civil government, Nigerians are yet to see the dividend of democracy. And we are appealing to those, our politicians, the political elite, to know that their function is to work for the Nigerian people. They are not there to amass wealth. They are not there to contest election and become governor and become senator for the sake of it. They are there entrusted with power for them to benefit the lives of the people, to improve the quality of life of the Nigerian people. And the earlier they start to do that, the better.
All right. Thank you. This is where we draw the curtain because we're almost out of time. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Like as usual, your analysis was very insightful.
Thank you
and
very
I'm sure
much.
that the viewers must have benefited a lot from your insightful analysis. Thank you very much for
We thank the viewers for the privilege.
All right. This is where we draw the curtain on today's episode of Democracy and the Rule of Law. Meet us same time next week as we look at more trending topics. I'm Kenneth Mimo.